Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to make a ginger bug to make your own ginger beer. There's this website I can link that describes the process. It's nothing I've ever tried, but it doesn't look too hard. What you do, for starters...
And it was my idea.
Okay, alright. Well, how much... Why don't you describe them? Well, how much ginger are we using to start with?
1 inch, which is equivalent to a thumb of ginger.
A thumb of ginger. So what it says to do is grate it into a mason jar. So we'll do that. And I think it says, I'll have to confirm. In fact, we'll pause.
And it says skin and all, right?
It does. Yes, it just says 2 teaspoons of sugar, regular white sugar, and 1 cup of water. That's all that's going to go in here. We're going to stir it and then cover it with a cheesecloth and put a rubber band type around it. And then what you do is you apparently do the same amount of ginger and the same amount of sugar the next day and the next day, and it'll start bubbling.
Great.
What?
That's what you have to do every day.
Get to work.
Great. I need a cider break.
Brother. Well, where'd you get that delicious cider? Anyway. Yeah, so then you're making like a yeast starter, a ginger starter, or they call it a ginger bug. And then you will make a ginger tea. And that'll be 1 gallon. And then the bug / starter will go into the tea. And presumably ferment that. And then you bottle it. And you leave it out for so many days and check it, and then when it's carbonated, then you can put it all in the fridge. Anyway, I don't know. I've never done anything like this. Beth had the idea. We're going to give it a try. So here is the ginger and 1 cup of water, and now we have 2 teaspoons of sugar. 1 and 2. Can I reach in there? Oh, I can. Stir. So I will stir this for a short while and cover it up, and then we will see what happens in the next couple of days.
Okay.
Alright, so here is this bug. It is currently Sunday. You can see some bubbles, and actually I can hear the bubbles when I put my ear to there. Now what I did, we made it on Wednesday. On Thursday, I did another thumb of ginger grated and another teaspoon of sugar, stirred it up. Did the same thing on Friday, and it became to be somewhat active. I could see these little bubbles. And another thing that's interesting, if you have brewed before, it looks like there's this yeast layer on the bottom, which you're familiar with if you've done some brewing. And what I've been doing is swirling it up once or twice a day. So at any rate, I didn't add more yesterday on Saturday because it seemed like it was going pretty strong. And today's Sunday. Now what the directions say, boil 2 quarts of water, kill the heat, and then it says you can add as little as another thumb of ginger or as much as a whole hand. Now what we have, Beth is hard at work here, ain't ya? We've got basically a hand. What else do you got in your other hand? How much is in there? She's already been doing some of that. And I feel like the entire amount that we have in, it ends up being 1 gallon total, is a lot. So maybe we'll do half of this. So what you do is you get the water going. I'm bringing it to a boil. Turn it off, stir in 1.5 cups of sugar, add in the ginger, let it steep for a little bit, then you cool it down some, and then you're going to be eventually adding 2 more quarts of cold water, straining everything out. I've got this, I'm going to use this big jar here, and I'm going to use my bottling wand and siphon. I've got hopefully enough bottles. I didn't sanitize the bottles, but I did give them a hot water rinse. I think that should be fine. And I'm also going to do 1 plastic one, and that one I can use to tell when it gets firm, because then the carbonation will be getting developed, and then at that point I can either crack the plastic one or open one of the swing tops. If it is fizzy at that point, then they all go in the fridge. So first of all, we'll get this ginger shredded and get this sugar mixture going. So we ended up doing most of the ginger. We reserved a little bit, but you can see that we have that much to go in. Here's the 1.5 cups of sugar. The water has come to a boil. I've turned it off. So I'll probably stir in the sugar here first and then dump the ginger in and maybe at least let it sit for 5 minutes, maybe longer, before I start to cool it down. So we added the stuff as advertised. I have a little ice water bath. In fact, I don't know, what's the temperature down to? We're down to like 120. Ain't too worried about it. 78, 80. That's fine, because what I also have is 2 more quarts of cold water. So it's going to be all mixed together, so it'll cool it down. So what we're going to do right now, I've got a double mesh strainer, and then I also have this cloth. So you just have to figure out how it can work for you. But this should work for our purposes. So the sugar water is going to go all through, but then the ginger will be on the top. Oh yeah, that feels cool already. So I'll probably press it out a little bit to get all the goodness out. And then what I'll also do is I'll swirl this up. I'll probably scoop this ginger up, but then I'll swirl this all up and then dump that through this same cloth.
No.
Say it. Guess what? Beth reminded me that I forgot. All right, squeeze away. We're gonna, it just says to do the juice of 2 lemons, which I did forget about, although I did have the lemons handy. And Beth says, when do we add the lemons? When you add them right now, right when you're getting ready to do your bottling. So, glad she reminded me. So, we had a little bit left over. And it's actually pretty nice, even just like this. It's very sweet. But there's definitely a ginger character. It's not overly so. So, when they say that you could use a whole hand, I guess that's kind of accurate. It didn't make it too gingery, but this is what we have. What is that? 6. This one here is pretty big. But yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be, I mean, it was a gallon because I had 4 quarts. So maybe these are like 16 ounces each or something. But this is the one I'll keep my eye on. I'll be checking right now. It's pretty squishy, but I'll keep an eye on it, check it. They say it can take, I don't know, 5 days at least, but we'll see. Will it be fizzy?
I don't know.
Do it be? Well, let's do a tasting.
A little bit.
My battery's going low. How do you like that? Alright, well, we'll see. It tasted pretty good on the one that we had on Sunday. It was just not that carbonated. What do you think?
It's gonna taste about the same. IMO.
Huh. It's it has a really nice gingery flavor. A little bit of a bite, a little bit of a heat. You're right, it ain't as... So I guess I'll leave the other ones at room temp.
You know, Flat Earth used to have something on tap that tasted very much like this.
What do they call it?
Ginger beer.
Okay.
I think it was maybe a little bit more carbonated than this.
No. So here we are. It's been exactly just over 2 weeks. And we've tried it a couple of times along the way. Has it been 2 weeks or 3 weeks? I forget.
2 weeks.
But it's not been super carbonated. Now this one here has been our test. And right now the thing is really firm. So it's got to have some carbonation. I don't know why it's taking this long, but let's go ahead, see if we can crack the top. Hopefully I won't spray all over.
There's some little
All right.
bubbles.
Yeah, so give us a pour.
Oh.
Oh, real carbonated. All right, cool. So yeah, pour us out each some. And here, let's go ahead and before we get the sediment, I've noticed that.
I just don't want to drink a ton.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's real sugary.
Fair enough. Okay, so now it has been tasting pretty good. Cheers. All along, I think, but this is definitely the most bubbles we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's less sweet now
It is.
because
Yeah.
some of the sugar. I did a previous video when I thought that was going to be the tasting video, and it was sweeter, but I bet some of it's been fermented.
Mm-hmm.
The sugar to give us the bubbles. It's really spritzy now.
Yeah, it's yummy.
But you get the
I bet your kids
ginger.
would like it.
You definitely get some ginger. I said this in the other video that I probably won't include, but it does have a little bit of heat from the ginger and a little bit of flavor, obviously. What would you do different if you could like change the flavor a little bit?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I would do anything different, but it would be fun to do some kind of variation, like grate a little bit of a serrano pepper in there.
Make it even hotter?
Maybe.
I suppose you could. Or use more ginger. Or the other thing is, this took longer to carbonate than it was suggested because there's another video where, or I should say process, where you leave the ginger bug much longer than a few days. I think it's like a couple weeks, and you keep feeding it and growing it. I can't remember if I commented on that, but I'll post both those recipes pages in the description. And yeah, I mean, you could drink this straight as is. You could mix it with, you know, like some fruit juice or make a alcoholic drink, I suppose.
Yeah, I mix it with vodka again.
Did that before. It's definitely less sweet. That's pretty interesting, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but if it were doing gravity readings, it'd probably drop like several more points to get all this carbonation.
I wonder if it would mix okay with your cider.
Well, I suppose we could give it a try. But anyway, give it a try. Comment if you've tried something like this, if you have tips. And yeah, it's fun. Little project. It's supposed to be good for you, but you know, I just like it because it's fun. So, anyway, so thanks for watching, and catch you later. Suppose.